now. Oh, here we go.
I'm getting this. I gotta get it. It's good. It's good.
If I post something really stupid on Facebook, I'll get like a couple hundred likes. Or if I post a scantily clad picture of myself, I'll get a couple different likes. But if I were to post, hey guys, pay your child support, be there for your kids, it's 0 likes.
The issue right now
is people are going to go off what's the issue, and they don't see the fact of what is hot right now. How many jokes are there about like, oh, I'm going to get an OnlyFans because I need money or I need this, you know what I mean? Like, it's because people joked about what is the topic and what is the obvious. They're not talking about like the moral compass of getting naked for money on the internet. They're not talking about the people that are paying the money to see this. Like if I'm a 19-year-old little girl and I'm posting naked pictures online and people are like, oh, this girl's, making a bunch of money showing off her da-da-da. It's not 19-year-old kids buying her pictures. It's grown businessmen. And we're not talking about that. We're not talking about these kids that are being exploited.
Because it's not the hot topic, even though it's the real issue that should be addressed.
Yeah. If you follow that, you pour that water down and see where it goes in that drain. It leads back to not the Trump administration, but Trump's lifestyle, because he was tied into the Playboy. He was tied into all those Epstein Islands and all these different things. And pictures don't lie.
Right.
It's his whole lifestyle in the 80s and all that. That's what it was all about. So people have this ideology of like sex sells and this is what it is. Naturally, if people like something, people are not going to like it. It's like going to a stadium in a football game. There's 2 teams. You're not going to go there and root for the third team. You're for the Raiders or you're for the Seahawks. Sure. You're not going to walk in there wearing the Cowboys jersey because you're in the wrong place. So it's not like you didn't have a way to vote. This is what society put in front of you. It's like a smoky mirror. Why aren't we looking around to see what's really going on outside as opposed to what's on my phone screen?
I feel like that's what the election results really came down to. For people who historically didn't vote for Trump, historically don't align with Trump and his morality. Like, I gotta feed my kids and milk it's like $7. You know what I mean? For the Democrats to run on women's issues and social issues, that's the hot topic. That's what got everybody all wild up. But the real issue is how much can I put on my table to feed my kids?
And the thing is, like, again, it's that smoky mirrors of, for me, for example, single male, no kids. Milk could be $14 a gallon. Either I'm going to buy it or not. I can afford it.
Right.
But it's not an issue for me to get it. That's why it's not talked about.
Right.
The issue for me is protecting my money. The issue for me is I can have this Playboy lifestyle and get away with it.
Right.
That's what they're talking about. And that's what's not being said. People are voting for like, if I'm this type of person, it's okay. Because you put someone like Trump in office to make these things. That's what they're not looking at.
So is what you are saying that deep down, Trump's example is possibly what people really want for themselves?
Oh,
the immunity, the gumption to say whatever you want, the money in your pocket, the camaraderie against things that people have talked about as what we should aspire to, right? Like, oh, we should not just close our borders off because it's a human rights issue. And it's like, Trump's like, no, we need to do that. We need to close those borders. And so folks who voted for him may or may not want some of those facets of who he is for themselves.
Well, I think that people that voted for him is very blanket statements to say, like, let's just close the border. Let's build this fence. Have you ever been to Mexico? I've been there several times and I've seen that fence. You go down to Ensenada Beach, that Trump fence goes out the beach about 20 yards. I'm not like Michael Phelps by any means, but I can swim 20 yards.
Right.
Yeah, I'm watching little kids play in this water and their ball rolls around the fence in the U.S. They're sort of grabbing their ball, bringing it back.
Right.
But people are like, we got the wall. We voted for him. Like, well, what was the point of that? What's the human right to say, here's an imaginary line that you really can't see, but this makes us a different country.
Right.
And this is a country of opportunity.
Right.
And they said that we don't want to bring people in because they're criminals. Yeah, the criminals are here. At least they're coming with a work ethic, what we don't have here.
Right.
And that's the thing that, again, is these subjects aren't talked about. The U.S., hey, we're this superpower. We have to be probably the most arrogant country in the world. Why is it the Dodgers just won the World Series? Who do we play? East Coast? Do we play Japan? Do we play Saudi Arabia? How are we the world?
Yeah.
But we're the world champs because they played the West Coast. You know what I mean? And then you look at a globe. Square footage of the U.S., any globe, the USA is the biggest continent on any globe. We're actually the smallest. It's that type of arrogance that we have as a country. There's not a lot of men in this country. There's a lot of guys in this country, for sure. And the guys are the ones that won't be accountable and want to live this lifestyle of just belittling people. It's kind of like the 90s.
Men don't do that.
The leader of the gang is afraid, but he is bold enough to get all these followers that listen to him. It's snowball. When the one guy can say, hey, man, this is the way we should be, and this is how we should be, and then the other guys will follow suit. But the fact is, the one guy was afraid, so then they're all afraid.
Right.
Society is the same exact way. These guys, the Playboy Mansion, or they do this and that, it's something to aspire to be. And they think, oh, well, Trump doesn't like transgender people, so I don't like them. Well, why not?
Right.
It just seemed pretty human to me, and that was my kid, or that was my neighbor.
So that's really important. Sometimes we don't take responsibility for our own space to be what it should be. You're like, I don't really give a shit what happens outside of my house because I know that I've done everything I need to have the place that I have and have it aligned with who I am and my integrity. Ain't nobody outside of that can break that because I'm grounded in that, right? Mm-hmm. And people, you're saying guys are doing enough of the work to become men, which wouldn't let something that they don't agree with or something that might be harmful to themselves and people in their sphere to not follow. I hear you saying people need to be more leaders for themselves.
Yeah, better advocates for themselves as well.
Right.
It's like taking clumps of mud and throwing on the ceiling. A lot of stuff's going to fall, but some of the stuff's going to stick. We need to figure out, are you grabbing the right mud?
You protected your home so the mud don't even stick in the first place.
Yeah. And I think that, again, it's society or people that we just don't do that. We kind of want to turn the blind eye to it.
We want people to do it for us.
We'd rather follow the masses.
Yeah.
Do what's
right.
Because no matter what, here's an example. If I tell you right now, look at your nails. What's the first thing you did? You went like that, right?
Yeah.
Every guy has to look at their nails, go like this. That's the girl. She puts her hand out like that. Looking at a ring. Growing up, I'm pretty sure your dad didn't tell you, hey, look at your nails this way. Just naturally did it. If I tell you, look at your feet, you're going to pull your leg back like you stepped in something. Ask the girl, she's going to put her toy forward. Like she's looking at something. Why is this as human beings, we're wired that way? You know what I mean? You just automatically get that because that's how you are as a person. As people, we are wired to do the right thing. We are wired to know right from wrong. The thing is, we push through to be blanketed, and we push through to avoid that or not be accountable to that. That's something that is not really talked about as a society, as friends. As me to pull you aside, hey, Lewis, you're messing up. Or, hey, man, it's okay to be this way. If you have a certain feeling or thought, you call me and say, this is how I'm feeling. If our society, since our little kids, when we don't even think about it, was that Christmas movie with Hermie the elf? He wanted to be a dentist.
Right.
And they're like, no, you have to be told to do. No, I want to be. He ran away because he felt so bad about who he was. That movie came out in the 80s or 70s.
Right.
That's a prime example. Teaching us as kids, it's okay. And then Santa had to come and save the day and say, no, it's okay to be different. He got dental tools and he fixed all the elf's teeth.
Right.
These things are in front of us, but we just turn a blind eye to it. Or we just think, no, you have to be little elves. You can't be a dentist. Or we have to be this certain type of way. Some people are that way because they That's just how they are. That's how they're wired. That's okay. And some people are that way because they gave up, or they just they just don't know any different. You look at somebody's upbringing, their environment, in a certain age, sometimes that's just what it is, and sometimes it's by choice. You do better, you'll get better. I'm not going to the doctor if I don't admit I'm sick.
Right.
And that's the biggest mind fuck for a lot of people, is to admit that, hey, I'm sick, or something's not right.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I belong. What does that look like? Is it normal, natural to feel like you don't belong?
The situation presenting, or is that what you believe based on your past?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that's not talked about. If you come to me and say, hey, man, I don't feel normal, I have to be like, no, you're right. You need to be, man. You're killing it. You're doing great. I'm not a freak. I'm not abnormal. I'm not weird. It's like a reassurance. And I think some people need that confirmation.
Some people don't.
And some people say, well, what march the beach roll drum? Like, that's great. But you know what? That drum sounds a lot better when people are dancing. And the drum sounds better with a good percussion with it. Because again, what's the thing goes, I found my tribe. It's a really big world out there. A lot of people are stuck where they are because of finances, situations, or health, or whatever. But there's not enough people that are celebrating the ones that are where they at. There's a kid in the middle of Wyoming that's transgender and super closeted and super scared because Trump is in office, and these guys that don't know anything know that, Trump's in office, we got to go beat him up. This kid is terrified because he can't tell his dad or his mom or his brothers or even in school. That's the fear people are talking about. The women are afraid because of health issues and stuff like that. It's a natural fear. They're not attention seeking, but men are stepping up and doing right by it.
That's right. And that's what we're not talking about.
They won't talk about it because that falls into that accountability blanket. And like, well, I can't do that.
Right.
I don't want to pay my past debts. Our society has created, there is a real debt that this country has created, that this country won't be accountable for. I say America is in a relationship with minorities. And America has cheated on them repeatedly.
Sure.
Minorities have taken this country back, but they're not talking about why they did it. There's always going to be that scar there. It's never going to be the same. Right. So if you've been in a relationship where you've been cheated on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's never going to be the same. You can forgive because we have that ability to forgive, but we don't have the ability to forget.
That's right.
And that's the thing that's not talked about. People can forgive. They can bite their lip for 4 years, but they're never going to forget the Trump flag in the yard. Never forget being yelled at a bus stop. Never forget holding their purse tight. If I'm sitting at a red light and there's a car pulls up by me, they'll sit one car back. Because if my window's down, they can see me. They're like, oh, like I want everybody to jump out of my truck.
I do that shit too.
You know, it was me.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying though. I'm going to let you go because we all continue talking if I continue to let it